You're listening to Cattywampus.
So David doesn't want to introduce this. This is a movie brought on by choice? By chance?
No, by you.
By me?
By sheer happenstance.
No, Brian. You did this.
I would never, ever suggest that anybody...
Not Moira McTaggart. You shot me in the back, you motherfucker.
This is actually...
Paralyzed
This is The Road to Mandy, Part 99. If you do not watch this movie, you can't watch Mandy.
Not worth it.
I
am
Sorry, Panos
You're not going to
Cosmatos.
understand the cerebral plot of Mandy.
I cannot and
Not worth it.
cannot even comprehend that I just got David to sit through this movie. We just sat through Dude Bro Party Massacre 3. I love the movie. I suggested it. It happened.
I don't hate it.
I think it's hilarious.
There's plenty in there for me to laugh at.
Spoken like a true fifth column.
Yes, this truly was a conspiracy to ruin your day. I woke up this morning and I called Brian immediately and said, "Hey, how can we fuck this guy today?"
You woke up and as if it came to you in a dream, you're like, fuck David.
I thought for sure we
This
would.
movie is how we do it.
This episode shouldn't be a thing. This movie should have never happened with David.
Is this my bachelor party hazing? Is
Yes.
this
You
Bro Party Massacre?
you should have stopped the movie. You should have left the room. You should have broken your TV.
But
you
he didn't.
You didn't. And I'm really proud of you.
No, actually, I am very impressed.
I am. Hats off to you. Hats
About
off
when
to you.
Brian and I did text briefly during the film, and I even told Brian I saw the anger boiling within.
It is.
For anyone who's seen this much better movie, I'm gonna reference. There's a scene in Citizen Kane where Charles Foster Kane has.
You cannot talk about both of these movies.
Yeah,
in that scene.
well, I'm doing it.
He's doing it
there's a
anyway.
scene in Citizen Kane where Charles Foster Kane has put his paramour, forced her through an opera career despite her not having vocal talent. She has no singing ability, but he's made her the star of an opera. And the opening night, it's a disaster and she can't sing. And there's this shot of everybody looking around the audience like, oh, fuck. But they know, like, one of the most richest and important and powerful men in the country. So they're all kind of looking. And you just cut up to Charles Foster Kane, and he has a look in his eyes like he wants everyone in the world to die. And then he stands up after the singing is done, and he claps in anger, in bitter disrepute of all the other people in the audience. He claps as if to say, yes, I know it's bad, but you all will enjoy it. Anyway, that's how I felt.
That's not at all how I felt.
Oh, no, I expected that to be a singular feeling.
I clapped and I enjoyed, and I don't expect anyone else to.
I LOL'd more than I thought I would.
Yeah, Corey, I was impressed you laughed at this more than I figured you would.
It's YouTube Reddit humor, so I'm not that surprised. I laughed twice.
It's definitely early 2000s YouTube humor.
That's unfortunate because came out in 2015.
right.
It took a while. It had to be crowdfunded.
That's
and
unfortunate. 'Cause
had I known sooner, I would have crowdfunded sooner so I could have my name in the credits. I can't remember how I came to find out about it. I think it's because I'm on the horror subreddit, and they posted about it, and I was like, this sounds amazing. But at that time, I think it had already come out. So at that point, I bought it through their website and got to watch it. And I think you were there the night I bought it.
I was there, and we watched it,
And
and it was life-changing.
Yeah.
how drunk and or high were you?
Yes.
Not. I wasn't.
Yes.
So your favorite movie is Citizen Kane?
No, but it's really good. But I feel like the movie gets shit on because everyone's like, well, it's not that good. I'm like, well, whether you think it's the best movie ever made or not is irrelevant. It is an excellent movie. Certainly, if I had to give you a list of 100 of the most important movies ever made, Citizen Kane is on that list.
It's
really good.
I would also throw Dude Bro Party Massacre somewhere.
Absolutely not.
On the list of most important films ever made. How else would you gauge?
I've heard of YouTube movies before, like movies made by YouTube creators, but I've never really seen one from start to finish.
Well, now you have.
And this is about exactly what I thought it would be.
Yeah. And it's
It's like those Fred movies. Fred? Is that right?
Yeah.
I'd rather not discuss that.
The movie met your expectations?
I'm thinking of
Redacted.
Not Fed.
Redacted.
It was also not a good movie. Oh, there was that scene with the bag of fucking oranges.
The bag of fucking
The bag of
oranges.
Wait,
fucking
is this your favorite comedy film?
Fuck no. Is it hilarious? Fuck yes.
What's your favorite comedy film?
No.
No.
Yes, that's a question.
Actually, no, that's a legitimate question. Now I kind of need to know.
We need a frame of reference, right?
God.
Dude Bro Party Massacre 2? What?
I guess you could tell this from the movies I like, but I really don't care for comedy that much.
Really? Because I think we had a conversation earlier where you explained that you have seen
All of
every
Adam Sandler movies.
every Adam
Yeah.
Sandler movie, including all the Netflix ones.
Absolutely.
Wait, really? You saw Jack and Jill?
Was that Drew Barrymore?
No, they're twins. He plays his own
Oh.
twin.
No, we talked about it. I didn't see that one.
You missed Al Pacino in Dunkin' Donuts, man.
I can't believe you've seen that.
It was a morbid curiosity I had to. I think Red Letter Media talked. I have to see what they're talking about.
Great job, Adam Sandler.
I like to investigate. I would have made a good lawyer because if you're like, you really want to read all 1,000 pages of this, I'd be like, absolutely, I do. Leave me alone.
Would you like to investigate?
Clues!
Would you like to investigate the history of Motherface?
No.
Clues!
It's the girl from The Magicians. I cracked the case.
So I mean, I watched Dude Bro Party Massacre, and this was before I knew you, and I was like, David would really like this.
Go to fucking hell.
I was like, damn, one day I'm gonna meet this
We
guy
literally-
named David.
First of all, it was 2015, so bullshit that we didn't know.
Yeah, that's true. You did
And
know
it's
me.
been- yeah, I guess we met in 2013?
14.
14?
Yeah, that was...
We
yeah.
met in May of 2014.
That makes
Yep.
sense. Okay.
Hey,
Yeah,
5
when
years.
the movie came out, I was like,
Oh, yeah. We
Hey,
are
we've
coming
known each other. I've known you guys for 5 years.
up
Next
on a
month.
5-year anniversary.
That's crazy.
and we're not dead yet. I don't know.
It's quite a minor miracle.
Yeah, are we or what about on the inside?
Well, I mean that
How's already there?
unrelated to our friendship.
Okay, good.
I was watching the movie and I was like, this guy David I just met, he would
A year ago.
love this movie.
When we came out in 2015, you met him a year ago.
Yeah, this guy David,
Who I've known for a year.
who I've known for a while.
This story is as straight as your headphone cable. Yeah.
David, what do you
Visual jokes
what do you
look great.
what do you not like about Dude Bro Party Massacre 3?
Oh, God, do we have that much time?
Okay,
think
okay. I'm gonna distill this down. I actually think a lot of the people involved in the movie, a lot of these YouTube celebrities, quite a few of them are actually fairly talented comedians. I don't think the problem is in the performances. I think the problem is in the allocation of their budget, the writing and the direction. So for anyone who doesn't know, the basic premise of this movie is in 2015 they made a movie. It was as if it was the third part of a 80s horror franchise, 80s slasher franchise. It's trying to approximate the look of that being captured on VHS off of a live broadcast, that the movie was like banned. It includes some commercial interstitials, like it was part of that recording. But basically, the closest thing I could equate it to is Black Dynamite. Black Dynamite, which is an excellent comedy in which it is a recreation of blaxploitation films, uses extreme care to get the details of the blaxploitation film right. And that movie is really successful at recreating this blaxploitation feel and creating a comedy that really feels that. It also is meta. It has a lot of like filmmaking jokes, like people bumping into boom mics and actors being replaced after they have a meltdown. Also been on a very low budget. There's a very easy way to equal these two things. I think Dude Bro Party Massacre 3 makes the mistake of not having a tight structured screenplay that commits to the satire of the 80s slasher film. And I also think they don't allocate their budget correctly, and it just doesn't feel like 1983 when the movie's supposed to have taken place. And it just sort of becomes a series of YouTube sketches that barely have any connective tissue that makes the movie run incredibly long, which also means there's no consistency of character, there's no consistency of story, there's no consistency of logic.
I don't think I ever sold this to you as being a great film. I think I just said, this is a funny movie and I want to watch it.
No, I'm pretty sure you sold this to us as great.
Oh,
Thanks for the assist, Corey.
This is a solid film.
The word "great" was definitely.
You're
also,
gonna,
like-
you're gonna hear about this movie in the history books. Dude Bro Party Massacre 3.
So you say that, but like Black Dynamite is a movie I think you'll hear about in like the history of comedy.
I can see that.
Like you can make a good movie and it can be funny. You can do both. Because like Black Dynamite isn't like sincere in terms of like characters, but it's consistent in the logic of the comedy.
All the people involved in this movie make 20-minute videos on YouTube.
Yeah, and they're better than this movie.
I'll say from my perspective, they nailed what they wanted to do. And I think it works for some people and it doesn't work for other people. And
Well, that's true of all art. I mean,
right. And but for me,
if we all just agree to distree, there isn't a podcast.
No. And I'm not. I'm saying that. I'm saying it's fine.
How was it? I don't know.
I knew.
all right.
I knew 100% that you would hate this movie. I
It's
was
not a movie.
shocked.
I mean, it's not a movie.
Right.
But it kind of
But
is.
it is.
It has a beginning,
But-
a middle, and end. It has a rising action and a
A
climax.
rising action? That is
that's,
generous.
But that's what I'm getting at. For me,
does.
For me, this movie is Perfect. And my money
Perfect.
well spent. Money well spent.
Perfect.
For me. And I don't think we finished it the first time we watched it. I think we made it like halfway
Listen
through.
to yourself.
No, it was late as fuck. It
Yeah,
was
I
like
think
3 in
it
the
wasn't a
morning.
matter of we didn't like it. It was a matter
But like,
of...
why are you explaining that as a reason to have how good of an experience it was? You're like, I didn't even finish it the first time.
Amazing. I went
It's too good. Too good for me to finish.
I
Too
went
good to
back
finish.
multiple times. No, I don't.
Too good. Too good for me to watch. I just leave it on the shelf and look at it.
It's just personal preference of whether
It's
it
too
appeals to
long.
you
I
or
mean,
not.
if anything, let's say I buy into the non sequitur humor and it was my thing, the way they do it. It is still
I agree with that.
interminably too long.
I agree.
When I looked it up and we had 33 minutes left, that was impossible.
I
101 minutes for this kind of movie? Absolutely not.
I agree with that because it is definitely a movie that you watch with like a group of people, depending on the group.
I will say it is a cult film in that sense.
Yeah.
Like I can't. It's like watching Rocky Horror. Like you can't watch. I mean, you can watch it alone, but why?
I don't know
would
of anybody
you?
who's ever sat down by themselves and watched Rocky.
There have definitely been times where we only made it halfway through. I'm not gonna lie, like it is a stupid movie, but it is a movie that I find hilarious.
I don't mind that. Like Wayne's World's a stupid movie. Like lots of movies are stupid movies, but they work. They're cohesive. Like if anything, I actually think the movie would be better served if it didn't have connective tissue and they were just the same cast doing sketches. Steve, you're bored and clearly want to be somewhere else. Tell me more about Dude Pro Party Massacre.
It's a collection of film.
It's a perfectly cromulent film.
I mean, I enjoy it for what it is. Like I don't expect it to be something great, groundbreaking,
No,
or wonderful.
It's also definitely not for everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I hate that phrase though. It's like I enjoy it for what it is. Just turn your brain off. Well, it's not for everybody. I'm like, no.
I'm
Take a
talking
stand.
I'm talking about your sense of humor. There's
But it's
there's
a
black
movie. It has
comedy
to
and
have
then
more.
there's this
No, but
comedy.
it's a movie. It has to have more than just a series of sketches.
Does it?
Yes.
It doesn't.
Have you ever seen the scary movies?
Yeah.
Because
They're
it's
bad.
kind of reminded me of those.
But they're bad.
I find this to be
Yes,
funnier.
and also they're enjoyable if you like
They're
that
not-
kind of movie.
I
It's
find,
all personal preference, man.
yeah, but
Yeah,
that's-
but like
I
here's the
think
thing.
that's
You don't.
problem is comedy-
But Brian, you don't take this attitude of anything else. You're like Transformers is the worst and it fucking sucks and I don't and like I
Not
hate it.
Transformers 1, I think that's fine. The newer ones,
Yeah, but why? Well, but Brian, it's personal preference. You don't like that kind of action. It's not for everybody. Like, see, like you can do it with anything. Like, it doesn't make any sense to pull that argument out. Like, when you like something, you could do that with anything. Anything you hate, I could be like, well, it's literally personal preference.
some comedy.
It made $1 billion, so clearly it's personal. Like, clearly, like statistically, we are wrong. Transformers 4 made $1 billion.
But there's a lot of comedy that doesn't
Seriously?
land with certain people. Like,
There was a lot, well,
It just
but there's a
doesn't-
lot of like everything that doesn't land with certain people. Like, why does comedy get this special exemption?
I guess in my opinion, it's completely different because
Then what?
there are different forms of it, and
Well, there's different forms of action.
some people.
Oh, hold up.
But Michael Bay's form of action is different. Like again, you why?
This
Like,
is anecdotal, but I really do feel like comedy is one of the most extreme hit or miss genres.
But I think that's because-
in the entire entertainment.
but that's just cultural. Like we've just culturally decided that comedy can be subjective and everything else has to be, especially. Oh God, I'm
Well, come on, like there's not
I'm
one
gonna sound
comedian
so-
that you like way more.
I'm gonna
than...
sound so old when I say this. In this age of Reddit, like it feels like movies have to be voted on now. Where it's like a movie is culturally accepted or not accepted.
I don't think
You
anyone,
hate The Last Jedi or you love The Last Jedi, and you
I don't-
can't have any nuanced opinion.
I don't
And you
think-
might be sexist about
I
it.
don't think anyone would vote for Dude Bro Party Massacre, but I do.
No, but I'm saying is like I don't understand why comedy has the exception where everything else gets this. Everyone else gets thrown in front of the scarecrow kangaroo court of The Dark Knight Rises, and it gets thrown to the ice. But then when it comes to comedy, we're like, well, whatever.
I really do feel like comedy.
But why?
In particular
My
is
question
one
is,
of the
but
most
why?
subjective.
But why is it? Why have we decided that art form is subjective and the rest of art is somehow now binary?
Well, I can't explain.
Shouldn't
the
all
exemption.
art be that subjective?
I don't think that it was this subjective in the past, but I
Yeah,
do
I-
think,
Yeah, but we don't treat it that way as
I
a
think-
culture.
Who's we?
no, I think in
a
this,
culture? We as a culture, the royal
no,
we,
Yeah.
the queen,
I
That's
think,
what I was figuring.
I think
The
in
royal
our,
we.
I
That
think
was
in
my-
our,
the queen's
The royal
justice.
we.
I think in our current political climate of everybody being offended by everything, a lot of people will not appreciate humor of certain kind. And
I don't think this movie's bad
I-
because it's offensive. I think this movie's bad
I-
because it's boring
But
and
I-
nonsensical and too long.
right, but I don't think this movie's that offensive. But I do think
I think there's
some
like two
comedy-
things in it where I'm like, oh look, she got her fetus stabbed out. No, that's not really all that funny. It's just shock. It's just like, can you believe we did it? The joke is, every joke in this movie is, can you believe we did that? Doesn't make any sense, right? But we did it. That's like every joke in this movie.
Sometimes
There's
it
no
lands.
setup and punchline. There's no prestige, Brian.
The joke that you did like, that I also like,
Or he kneels by the grave.
the family photo where they're at an old parched town,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Hey, you killed my whole family. Why don't you go over there and take a picture with my family?" And then they
it's
go
because-
sit down next to the family's graves, and he's like, "Give my wife a hug."
And I'll tell you why. It's because everybody else is weirded out, and Greg Sestero is matching that guy's energy.
Yeah.
And he's just as weird about it. He's just smiling like, of course I will. Like he's playing on the same wavelength, which implies some kind of world. And I'm like, okay, that makes me laugh. Telling me something by doing that. Most of the jokes are not telling me something by doing that.
A lot of it lands, a lot of it doesn't land.
Yeah, and it's such a
But-
subtle moment, and it's in a wide shot. It's not even like focused on. It's just like him in a shot of like
Yeah.
15 other people or whatever.
That's one of the things I do like about the movie is for all the things it tries to do, the things it doesn't try to do actually land harder. Like just random shit.
Well, I think
out
it's
of
those act-
nowhere. It's
because
like, oh fuck, that's funny.
A
but-
lot of those actors are funny, and I think if you
Yeah.
if you let it breathe and and again when you have like intent, I think you could get a lot of really funny stuff out of these
Yeah.
guys.
Steve just wants to go to bed.
No, I'm good. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, bag of fucking oranges.
Bag of fucking oranges.
Steve, what's your favorite comedy?
If you're like me, you don't watch.
Honestly,
comedies.
I hate to say it, but my mind always goes right back to Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore's is the only Adam Sandler
Yeah,
comedy
it's-
that I like.
it's
The only
the-
Adam Sandler vehicle I like.
Yeah, it's his best film.
Because the rest also have a weird amount of sexism and racism. And Happy Gilmore has a little bit about that, but it feels a little bit more kind-hearted than...
Yeah.
I still think Airheads is funny. I know we talked about this earlier.
I just think it's stupid.
Nah, Airheads is
very
stupid, but it
stupid.
does have its
God
moments.
damn it, it's good.
I think Steve Buscemi's the best part of that movie. But I generally think that in comedy, whenever I see Steve Buscemi, he's still like one of my favorite things about 30 Rock as the private detective.
He was the best part of Mr. Deeds if we're staying on Adam Sandler movies.
Oh,
for a
yeah, his
minute.
remake of Mr. Deeds Goes
Yep.
to Town. That's great. We should definitely remake that. Anyway,
So yeah, Dude Bro Party Massacre
Brian.
3.
I'm
Brian.
trying to remember that kid's name so I can like at
Which
least
kid?
yell it one time on the podcast like I'm looking for him.
Oh, Sizzler. Sizzler.
Bro Massacre.
Sizzler.
You actually, I think, smiled at one part of the movie.
I laughed twice. So one was the dude kneeling by the grave. I literally, for the life of me, cannot remember the second time I laughed. So,
It's the little things
Piece of
in life.
shit.
so now
Somebody say orange juice. I fucking love that commercial.
I will say there is this feeling that I have, which is rare, when it comes to art.
I feel things.
I think that there is this feeling, especially when YouTube, like the fact that it's YouTube celebrities and YouTube, like YouTubers I was familiar with, like even before, having never heard of this movie outside of Brian mentioning the title. Like I was not familiar with like the origin of this movie or the backstory. Just the fact that it's people I have known from YouTube. There's such a familiarity with like YouTube creators and the way their content's made. Because part of the appeal of YouTube is it feels handmade. It feels more communicative. It's not this professional grade thing.
Videos feel personal.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Corey. It feels personal. So I think there is this extra almost like benefit of the doubt that you want to give the movie, where it's like, oh, it's like my friends made a movie.
Artisanal film.
Artisanal film. Artisanal pencil
I
sharpening.
will say, Steve and I have been quoting this movie for the past 5 years.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
that's true.
Not even possible.
Everyone's
It's not even possible.
So one,
Sorry.
4 years.
4 years.
But
Sorry.
two, not for nothing, but you two quote a lot of nonsensical shit all the time, so I don't really know what metric
fucking
that is.
fuses.
Like you guys quote some of the worst internet content I've ever been exposed to. So I don't know what metric you're
We're
saying that
walking
is.
meme machines.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
We read the memes, and then we regurgitate the memes in daily conversation to see who notices.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's how you should interact socially, to test other people.
Yes. Exactly.
No.
How do I know if
I'm
I
not
want
testing
to?
people. I'm seeing who also appreciates the same humor on the
Like,
internet.
Yeah,
I need
that's
to
a
know.
test, Corey.
I can only associate people that know how to respond to the following phrase: "Hello there."
General Kenobi.
You know what's weird
See?
about that is because I'm not on meme culture, I would never call that as a notable quote from that movie.
Oh, well, if you were on...
But like, if you only ever watch the movies, and I've seen those movies multiple times, I'm like, what the fuck? That's not a memorable line from that movie.
Your clones must be very proud.
That's great. Yeah, that's memorable.
That's not even the quote, David.
Your clones are
That's
very
what I
impressive.
love about prequel memes.
I don't
Is they
like
just
memes.
No,
His
no,
name
the
is
quote is your clones are very impressive. You must be very proud.
I said your clones would be very proud.
Oh, I'm sure they would be proud. He's a proud man, so the clones must be.
Well, yeah, but that's not the meme.
Yeah, your clones are very impressive. Well, I don't care what the fucking meme is. The movie is the thing.
Do you ever internet?
Don't be like, well, I'm sorry, man. That's even though you said it right from the movie, you said it wrong from the meme. You go to fucking hell. The movie's the thing. The meme is the derivative. I don't give a shit about the derivative.
Okay,
I don't give a shit about your simulacrum goddamn bullshit on
I
Reddit.
don't give a shit.
I don't give a shit about you. I don't give a shit about
your ancestors. Yeah, great. At least I'll recognize. I'll say this. I won't forget that one. The fuse is what I'm not gonna lie to you guys. In a year, if you said the fuses thing to me, I am not gonna remember that. But if you say the ancestors thing, I will remember that.
That was Dude Bro Party Massacre.
Check it out. Make sure you bring your dude bros or dude chicks
I'm
around
just-
to watch it.
I'm
It's
just-
probably
in a-
dude bros.
Watch it in a group and maybe have some party favors.
I'm just really glad it was on Shudder, so we didn't have to spend any more money.
I'd buy it again.
You know, I think the trick to this movie, and you're gonna hate me for saying this, David.
Go ahead.
But I'm gonna copy Brian's words earlier. Remember, I said I was gonna make you eat them. Here you are, open wide. Here they come. I'm gonna feed them back to you. You got to be inebriated to enjoy this movie. That is my final ruling.
I have been drinking nonstop since 12, and I got to tell you, it didn't really work
Look,
for me.
just because when I say you, I'm not talking about you, David.
Yeah.
The royal you.
Yeah, the royal you.
Everyone else.
Everybody else, listen up. Make sure you drink a bit.
I wish Shudder
You
would
should
spot.
enjoy it with your bros, and you should crush or shotgun or funnel some
Drink
beers.
every time a bro drinks.
You should power hour this movie.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
No
Actually,
one will finish
yeah.
yeah.
No one will
power
finish it.
hour this movie.
Every
No one will
time-
finish it.
Yeah.
So it's long enough that a power hour will end it, and you'll be like, I'm so wasted for the rest of this. It'll just sort of like kind of float by you.
He's wasted on beer.
We should try it sober.
I think
That
you
never
should
works.
Well, lightly
jump in
buzzed.
head first.
Lightly
Well,
buzzed.
yeah, well buzzed.
Steve's
call it-
definition of sober is lightly buzzed.
Yeah.
Can I,
yeah.
can I call it
Duh.
lightly sober?
I'm
Lightly sober.
I'm mildly sober.
I would like a sprinkling of inebriation.
and a moose bouche of sobriety. Look, I didn't like it. I don't
You didn't turn it off.
I don't care. Like I would
I'm
just
still
like the
proud
worst.
of you. I'm proud of you, David, and I've been Brian.
I've been Corey.
I'm proud as well, and I've been Steve.
Corey, are you not proud of me? Corey's like, pride is a human emotion. Pride is earned,
I will not
and it's
give
a
in to
human
your
emotion.
hubris.
They don't have pride on
Yeah, I won't build your ego up in your goddamn Egyptian temple. I'm David. Sadly.
You sure you're David? You sounded more like Eeyore.
You've been listening to Cattywampus. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Tumblr at CattyWampusPod. Email us at cattywampuspodcast@gmail.com. Music by Tilly.